Hello children and viewers. So in the previous class I explained about the refraction of plane wave front from denser medium to rarer medium using Huygens principle. Now in this class I am going to explain reflection of plane wave front using Huygens principle. So for the reflection of plane wave front, so now consider, so this is a surface. This is a surface or a mirror from which the plane wavefront is going to reflect. Now consider, so this is a P dash. So now the P dash is the surface or reflecting surface from which the surface is going to reflect or a mirror. So now consider, so this is our plane wavefront. Now consider this a plane wavefront and its name be AB. So AB is a plane wavefront, so which is going to incident on the plane surface at point A. At point A, that's why this point A will be called as what? Incident point. So now this is a plane wavefront. Consider it is traveling in a medium. It is traveling in a medium of refract index n. Of refract index how much? N. And now this plane wavefront is traveling through this medium having refract index n. And as well as, so now consider when the plane wavefront is traveling through this medium, now it will be incident or it will be travel with some velocity, that will be considered v. That will be considered v. So now when this plane wavefront is incidenting at point A on the plane surface, so with what angle it is incidenting, we doesn't know. So to find with what angle it is incidenting, I am going to draw the light rays for the plane wavefront. According to Huygens principle, the light rays are always perpendicular to plane wavefront. So that's why I am drawing the two light rays at A and at B, at point A and at point B. So now how the light rays will be for the plane wavefront? They will be make 90 degrees according to Huygens principle. So now consider, so this is a light ray. This is a light ray which is coming from the source of the light. So now this light ray will be makes 90 degrees with this plane wavefront. And now consider this is another light ray, so that is drawing at point A for the plane wavefront. And now this is also another light ray. So it is also make how much angle? 90 degrees. This also make 90 degrees with the plane wavefront. According to Huygens principle, so the direction of propagation of energy or the direction of light ray will be always perpendicular to the wavefront. Okay. So if these represent the light rays name will be considered. So it is the, now consider, so this is Q and this is R, and nothing but QA and RB are the incident rays. They can be taken as what? Incident rays. Now these two rays can be taken as what? Incident rays. Incident ray. So if this is an incident ray, now this can be point of incident. That's why to find the angle of incident, I am drawing the normal. Now this is the normal. This is the normal drawn to whom? Surface. And the angle between this normal name we consider n dash. So this is the normal. n dash is perpendicular to P dash and this incident ray is perpendicular to AB. And nothing but, so this AB can be called as what? Incident wavefront. Incident wavefront is perpendicular to what? Incident ray. The incident ray name is nothing but, so AQ. And this is the surface, plane surface, P dash is the perpendicular to whom? Perpendicular to normal, n dash. N dash. Remember. So now the angle between this normal and incident ray will be called as what? Angle of incidence. According to the ray optics, the angle between the normal and incident ray will be called as angle of incidence. If this is angle of incidence, what happened? So actually this is how much? 90 degrees. And ఇది మొత్తం 90 degrees కావాలి. కానీ ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి ఎంత యాంగిల్ ఉంది? I. కాబట్టి what about this angle? Actually this is total 90 అంటే మొత్తం 90. ఈ 90 లోకి వెళ్ళి I తీసేసాం అనుకోండి. ఎంత అవుతుంది? So 90 minus I. So this angle is how much? 90 minus I. So total 90. Up to here I will be there. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం యాంగిల్ 90 నుంచి I subtract చేస్తే ఎంత? 90 minus I. Okay. Now you got the angle between this normal and incident wavefront. So this will be called as what? Incident wavefront. Now, so this normal this normal makes how much angle with the surface? 90 degrees. Mottam 90. But this angle is how much? 90 minus I. So 90 minus I like this 90 subtract this around good. How much? So now you got the I. Now this angle is how much? This angle will be I. So this is totally 90. From 90, when I subtract 90 minus I, and it is 90. ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇక్కడ వరకు ఎంత 90 minus I. That's why from 90, when you subtract 90 minus I, you got how much? So 90 minus 90 minus into minus plus. And nothing but plus 90 minus 90 will be cancelled. You get how much? I. Or when you add the 90 plus 90 minus I plus I, that gives how much? 90. And nothing but okay, satisfied. That's why this is how much? I. And now this incident wavefront is making how much angle with the surface? I. So that's why the incident wavefront is incidenting on the surface with what angle? I. So actually the plane and this surface will be like this, and the surface will be perpendicular to this board plane. And incident wavefront is also perpendicular to board plane. Now, but the incident ray is in the board plane. In the board plane. అంటే ఇలా ఉందనుకోండి, ఇన్సిడెంట్ రే ఇలా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. Okay. So you got that. So the incident wavefront is making how much angle with the surface. So but after some time the plane wavefront is not at the same place. It will be go to the new place. It will be go to the new place. So that's why after some time t, what is the new position of the plane wavefront? What is the new position of the plane wavefront? So that can be determined with help of the Huygens principle. What is the Huygens principle? Every point on the wavefront is a source of the secondary disturbances. That secondary disturbances produce a secondary wavelet. That secondary wavelet travel with the same speed of the wavefront. So by taking the distance traveled by the wavelet as a radius, when we draw the arc or sphere, that can be gives the secondary wavelet. For all the secondary wavelet, when a common tangent is drawn, that will be gives the new wavefront. That is according to Huygens principle. So that's why I am taking the 2 points on the wavefront. One is A, another one is B. So now this AB can be act as a source of secondary disturbances. So the secondary disturbances emit the secondary wavelet, and the secondary wavelet is travel with the same speed of the wavefront with what speed? With what speed? V speed. And the secondary wavelet which is produced from B travel with the V speed. The secondary wavelet which is produced from A is also travel with the same speed. But here, so the secondary wavelet which is produced from the B will be so emitted. It will travel towards surface. But the secondary wavelet which is produced from A already incident on the surface. That's why it will be undergo the and it will be returned into the same medium. Remember. So the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be moves towards the surface. But this point A is already on the surface. So that's why the secondary wavelet which is produced from A will be again what? Return into the same medium. So now consider the time taken by the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be to reach this surface will be considered time t, and the time taken by the secondary wavelet to reach the surface will be considered t, and after time t. So after how much time? So after time t, the secondary wavelet is not here, it will be here. Now consider it will be reaches to a new place or new point that will be C is on the surface. And nothing but this is the distance travelled by the secondary wavelet which is produced from B. So what is the BC here? So the BC is the distance. So distance travelled. So distance travelled by the secondary wavelet. From B. From where? From B. So now we want this BC. How can we calculate the BC? So because the secondary wavelet travel with what speed? V. In how much time it is travel in time t. So that's why the BC is nothing but the distance. Distance is equal to velocity or speed is V, and time t is t. And nothing but this BC is how much? V. Now this is the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet. By taking this distance, when you draw the arc, so by taking this distance, When I draw the arc, that arc will be gives a secondary wavelet, and nothing but by taking this distance as the radius. When I draw the arc or sphere, that will be give the secondary wavelet, and nothing but the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be reaches to C. So in how much time? Time t. This is the distance traveled. Okay, but so when the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be reaches to C in the same time t, the secondary wavelet which is produced from A will be what happen? Returns into the same medium and is also travel some distance. So that's why now consider, so this is the distance travel. So now consider this is the distance. So from A to here will be considered D. So the AD is the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet which is produced from A. In how much time? Time t. So that's why BD. So what is AD? So what is AD? AD is nothing but, so distance traveled by the secondary wavelet from A. So that distance is a calculated. Distance means velocity in time. With what velocity it can be moved? The same velocity v. And in how much time? Time t. That's a velocity into time gives the distance. And this AD is also how much? V into t. Okay, by taking this distance as a radius, so when I draw the sphere or arc, now consider this arc. So now these are the secondary wavelet. In the same way, so the points which are between the A and B also produce secondary wavelet. They can also reach at the same place here. That's why I am taking only two secondary wavelet. That's why when a common tangent is drawn, now I am drawing the common tangent. So a common tangent is drawn for the secondary wavelet. So now this common tangent can give our refracted wavefront. After how much time? After time t. So now this is a common tangent drawn to the secondary wavelets which is produced from A and which is produced from B. So now this common tangent can represent the refracted wavefront. And this is when the refracted wavefront, how this is the secondary wavelet which is produced from A is how much angle is making? 90 degrees. So that's why this AD can be taken as the ray of light. This is a ray of light. So that's why this ray of light can be taken as this is the incident ray. That's why this can be taken as a reflected ray because this is a wavefront. For this wavefront at D, this is a normal. That's why this AD can be taken as a reflected ray. When we take this a reflected ray, now angle between this reflected ray and normal will be considered R. That is known as angle of reflection. So if this is angle of reflection, so this normal is making how much angle with the surface? 90 degrees. That's why if this is 90 up to here R. So then what about this angle? So now this angle is 90 minus R. So this angle will be how much? 90 minus R. If 90 minus R and plus R will be added, then again you get the 90 degrees. So up to here R, and from this how much angle? 90 minus R. So this is 90 minus R. If we take again this triangle ADC. So now this is the 90 minus R and this is a 90. So then what about this? This become the R. So R 90 minus R plus 90. Total how much? 180. So angle 90 minus R aitadi. This 90. This 90 I. This 90 minus R is. Then what about this? This become the R. Then only the sum of the internal angles in the triangle becomes how much? 180. So nothing but this reflected wavefront is again reflecting with how much angle with the surface R. And nothing but the reflected wavefront is reflected with how much angle R. But when we say that is reflected, when we prove that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of deflection. So to prove that, I am taking the two triangle here. One is the ABC. So in the ABC, now this is the angle I. This is the ABC. Observe, this is the ABC. This angle is how much? I. And in the ADC, this is the ADC. So this angle is what? R. So that's why I am taking the first triangle. One triangle is ABC. So this ABC. So the ABC will be like this. I am drawing here. So this is B and this is A and this is C. Here how much angle? I. And this is the 90 degrees. And BC is nothing but what? VT. This BC is the VT. So for the, and now this is the 90 degrees here because this is the incident ray. So 90 degrees here is also 90 degrees. So the exactly side which is exactly opposite to 90 degrees can be taken as what? Hypotenuse, and here AC is the hypotenuse, remember. So that's why in this triangle when I calculated the sin I, what is the sin I? Sin I is nothing but, so it is a ratio of opposite side to the hypotenuse, opposite side to the hypotenuse. So that's why in the triangle ABC when I calculate the sin I is nothing but, for this I opposite side is the BC, for this sin I opposite side the BC by hypotenuse, for this I hypotenuse is AC. But what is BC? BC is nothing but VT by AC. Now consider equation 1. Now coming to the triangle ABC, now coming to the triangle ADC. In triangle ADC, so the triangle will be like this. I am again writing here. I am drawing here. Sorry, I am drawing here. This is the 90 degrees. So this is the D, and this is A, and this is C. So here how much R? So this AD is nothing but what? VT. This AD is nothing but the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet which is coming from A is how much? VT. So in this triangle sin R, I am going to calculate the sin R. Sin R is nothing but, so nothing but for R opposite side by hypotenuse. For R which is opposite side? AD. So AD by this R, for this R opposite side AD. By hypotenuse is nothing but what? AC. So but AD is nothing but what? AD is VT. This is the VT. AD is the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet which is coming from A. So that's why sin R equal to VT by AC. Now consider equation 2. So from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 sin I is VT by AC. Sin R equal to VT by AC. Got from equation 1 and 2, from equation, so 1 and 2. So sin I equal to sin R. But when sin I equal to sin R, if I equal to R, then only sin I equal to sin R. That's why, so from this equation we can written as I equal to R, and the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That's why we say that, so that incident wavefront will be undergo the reflector like CD. So this can be explained with the help of Huygens principle. And now coming to the second law, it is also obey the second law. What is second law? Incident ray, reflected ray, normal drawn to surface, all are lying in the same plane. Now consider this is an incident ray, this is a reflected ray, and this is a normal, all are lying in the same plane. But this is according to ray optics if we take the rays. But in case of the wavefront, now this is the incident wavefront, normal to the board plane, and this is the reflected wavefront, normal to the board plane, and this is a surface. Because for the, in case of the plane wavefront, so the angle of incidence and angle of reflection can be measured by taking the surface as a reference. But in case of the ray optics, so the angle of incidence and angle of reflection can be measured by taking the normal as a reference. But in case of the plane wave, in case of the wavefront, so the angle of incidence and angle of reflection can be measured with respect to the surface from which the plane wavefront is undergo the reflection or refraction. So that's why this is the incident plane wavefront AB. So it is normal to the board plane, and is the plane, surface plane is also perpendicular to board plane, and this reflected wavefront is also perpendicular to board plane, and nothing but these all are lie in the same plane. Which plane? Perpendicular to our board plane. So that's why they are also lie in the same plane. That's why these also obey the second law of reflection. What is the second law of reflection? So this incident wavefront is perpendicular to board plane, and reflected wavefront is also perpendicular to board plane, and the surface is also perpendicular to board plane. That's why all are lie in the same plane. Which plane? Perpendicular to board plane. That is the second law of reflection. So now coming to the, so far we discussed about the reflection and refraction of plane wavefront. So now I am going to explain. So when the plane wavefront is incident on the prism, convex lens as well as a concave mirror, so how they behave, and nothing but behavior. So behavior of prism, convex lens, concave mirror. concave mirror for plane wavefront. For plane wavefront. And nothing but if the plane wavefront is incident on the prism, so how the prism will be behave? How the prism will behave? When the convex lens, if the plane wavefront is incident on the convex lens, how the convex lens behave? So if the plane wavefront is incident on the concave mirror, so how the plane wavefront changes or how the concave mirror can be behave, we are going to learn. Now consider this is the prism. This is our prism, a rectangular prism. But when we observe the prism, so let us consider this is a prism. So here the thickness of the prism will be less, here the thickness of the prism will be more. And nothing but when we come to the top to bottom, so it's what happened, so the distance between these two refracting surface will be gradually increases, remember. And if the light rays of the plane wavefront is travel, so now when it is in the portion of the plane wavefront, it is incident on the upper portion, so it will become in the least time because it travel the less distance. So the incident rays are the plane wavefront that are incident on this bottom portion, what happen, it will be travel more distance in the prism, that's why, so it will be take the more time. And when they comes out, so the plane wavefront which is incident on the upper part will be come in least time, but the portion of the plane wavefront which is traveling to the bottom, it will be take more time. So that's why it will be some delay, if that plane wavefront is delayed. So come to nothing but compared to the upper part. So now consider, so this is our plane wavefront. So this is considered a plane wavefront. So that is going to incident on the prism. So this is plane wavefront that is going to incident on the prism. But how it will be changes, that can be explained by taking the light rays. So now how we can draw the light rays for the plane wavefront? Always according to Huygens principle, the light rays are perpendicular to the wavefront. So now I am drawing the two light rays. This is the first light ray and this second light ray. How it will be? They will be perpendicular to the plane wavefront. So that's why these two can be taken as incident rays. These two taken as the incident rays. So after incident rays are incidenting of the prism, when they will be comes out, so they will be comes out like this. Already you learned in the ray optics. These rays are called what? Emergent light rays. Emergent light rays. So for these emergent light rays, when I draw the plane wavefront, how the plane wavefront? It will be perpendicular. It will be perpendicular and it will be like this. So these are the light rays. That's why for this light rays, the plane wavefront is perpendicular. So nothing but when the plane wavefront is incident on the prism, after refraction or when it will be comes out of the prism, what happens? It will be tilted. It will be tilted. Tala straight ga unda, it will be tilted aside. Tilted until vanginattu kanipistami. Why? Because so this portion will be comes very fast and this portion will be comes late because it travel more distance in the prism. And ఈ పోర్షన్ అనేది ఎక్కువ డిస్టెన్స్ ట్రావెల్ చేయబట్టి లేట్ గా వస్తుంది. సో ఈ పోర్షన్ అనేది తక్కువ డిస్టెన్స్ ట్రావెల్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి ముందుకు వస్తుంది. దట్స్ వై ఇట్ విల్ బి టిల్టెడ్. Now this is the behavior of the prism for the plane wavefront. And when the plane wavefront is incident on the prism, again the wavefront which is coming from the prism is also plane wavefront, but it will be tilted. Now coming to the convex lens. Now consider this is the convex lens. Now consider this is the principal axis and this is the optic center. So again when we observe the convex lens, so it will be thickness will be less at the edges and thicker at the middle. Convex lens ని అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే ఎడ్జెస్ దగ్గర థిన్ గా ఉంటుంది సార్, ఎడ్జెస్ దగ్గర థిన్ గా ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ మధ్యలో ఎలా ఉంటుంది? థిక్ గా ఉంటుంది. అంటే మిడిల్ ఇట్ విల్ బి థిక్కర్, ఎడ్జెస్ ఇట్ విల్ బి థిన్. So that's why when a plane wavefront, let us consider this a plane wavefront. So this a plane wavefront is going to incident on the convex lens. It is also called as converge. And when this plane wavefront is incident on the convex lens, it will be converged at a point. So that point will be called as what? Focus. So to know its behavior, nothing but to know the behavior of this plane wavefront on after refraction through convex lens. So I am taking some light rays. So how we can draw the light rays? According to Huygens principle, when the light rays are drawn for the plane wavefront, it will be perpendicular to the plane wavefront. Okay, so now they are what? These are the light rays. How they are? They are parallel to each other and they are also parallel to principal axis. According to ray optics, So when the parallel beam of light is incident on the convex lens, after refraction, what happened? After refraction, all refracted rays will be meet at a point. Meet at a point. That point is called as what? Focus. And all refracted rays will be converge at a point. That point is called focus. So in the same way, if we draw the wavefront for this refracted rays, so how we can draw the refracted rays? And if we draw the, how we can draw the refracted wavefront? So if you draw the refracted wavefront, that refracted wavefront is also perpendicular to every light ray. Every light ray. If I draw like this, it is not perpendicular to every light ray. Ila draw chesanu anukondi, it is not perpendicular to every light ray or every refracted ray. But if I draw like this, observe. So now at this point, the wavefront is perpendicular to this light ray. And at this point, so this wavefront is perpendicular to this light ray, and at this point this wavefront is perpendicular to this light ray, and nothing but now the wavefront shape will be like this. And after, when the plane wavefront is incidenting on the convex lens, what happened? Now it will be converging. It will be converging because this portion will be come in least time, this up and nothing but top and bottom. But so the middle region will be comes late. Why? It will be thicker in the middle. So that's why it will be converging. So because when the plane wavefront is going to converge, the shape become the spherical. The shape become the spherical, and when the plane wavefront is incident on the convex lens, it will be converted into spherical wavefront. Why? It is going to converge. Now coming to the concave mirror. Now consider this is a concave mirror. This is a concave mirror, and this is principal axis of the concave mirror, and this is the pole of the mirror. Now consider, so this is the plane wavefront that is going to incident on the concave mirror. So to know how it will be changes, I am drawing the again light rays using Huygens principle. When I draw the light rays by using Huygens principle, so these light rays are what? Perpendicular to this plane wavefront. So how they are? They are parallel to each other, and they are also parallel to principal axis. That's why. So when they are incident on this concave mirror, after reflection, what happened? They will be meet at a point. So that point will be called as what? Focus. And after reflection, all the reflected rays meet at a point. That point is called as what? Focus. In the same way, when the plane wavefront is incident on this concave mirror, so here it will be reflected, and nothing but at this plane, and this portion will be incident on this point. It will be reflected after, and nothing but after reflecting here, to reach this F, it will be take more time. But these are the portions. It is incidenting on the concave mirror. So now it will be reflected in least time. So that's why when I draw the wavefront for this reflected rays, so now the plane wavefront will be like this, and nothing but the plane wavefront comes like this. Now it is not the plane wavefront, it become what? It become the spherical. So now at this point, so this is a perpendicular. At this point is also perpendicular. At this point is also perpendicular to this light rays. But nothing but when the plane wavefront is incident on the concave mirror, after reflection, again it will be converged. That side the plane wavefront will become what? Spherical wavefront after reflection. So this is the behavior of the prism, convex lens, concave mirror for the plane wavefront.